Did anything fun for the weekend? I went on a mountain biking ride. Rode up to it's a pretty dope place. It was in a little city called Eagle Mountain, and it was we rode up to this peak that had a bunch of flags, almost like we were in like those what's it called, like the Mongolian mountains or something. You know how they have the flags that are like everyone who's gone up there and conquered that peak, they'll bring like a flag or whatever. Wish I'd have known that it was there, because I would have brought a flag and planted it and put it onto the little post that they had of all the flags, because then I'd have been like, this was mine, I conquered this. It was a really cool bike ride. There was a dude in front of us whose pace was ridiculous, and he was running. So we we were stopped on the side trying to make sure where we were going. He comes running up. We're like, okay, that's an impressive pace. So we waited a little extra. We didn't want to be annoying and pass him right off the rip. And so we waited just a couple minutes. Then we started riding, and it was all downhill. Just so we were cruising, like we were not a whole lot of pedaling needed to be done. We were just cruising a bunch. And as we were cruising, it took quite a while to pass the guy. I was really impressed with his pace. It's pretty nutty. I I don't think I could do that with running. Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, brother, you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you this time. It looks like we're
Okay.
good.
I'm so sorry about that, man. I'm technologically challenged sometimes here.
Oh, not a problem, man. Not a problem at all. How the heck are
Appreciate
you?
you. Oh, I'm doing wonderful, man. I really, really appreciate you having me on with you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, man, absolutely, dude. I wouldn't have missed it, man.
Well, I love it. Well, I always like to start out with just quick introduction. So tell people who you are and something unique about you.
Well, let's see. My name's Clint Woolsey. I play with the Southern rock band Stone Senate, and I guess something unique. I'm about 6'7", man. So I'm,
Oh,
I'm pretty
dang.
pretty. You know.
That's awesome. I had a coworker who was about 6'7", and you don't realize how tall 6'7" is until you're standing up next to it. And you're like, holy smokes, this person is tall.
Yeah, you're right. I tell you what, man, when I meet, people taller than me, I really understand, when I meet shorter than I am, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, I can imagine. Did you play any sports?
You know what, man, I was always pretty much a musician.
That's
I
awesome.
started playing drums at an early age, about 7 or 8, and then moved on to bass guitar, and then moved on to the 6 string guitar when I was about 12 or 13, I guess. So
That's
I didn't
awesome.
do a whole lot of sports, but so music was always kind of my thing, I guess.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can hear the southernness in your voice. At that height, I'm sure the coaches, those football coaches, were trying hard. They were probably fighting hard to get you on their team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I remember back in middle school and high school, but I don't know, man. I never really had a big passion for it. I like to watch it all though, so but not just never had a big passion for playing it, I guess.
Hey, that's. I mean, I was always the kid who wanted to play, but never was good enough to really get to the level where I was competitive. So I just kind of became a really good spectator. So
Yeah, right. Hey, and that's a lot of fun too. You can
yeah,
have you a beer or a hot dog or something, and take it all in.
yeah, exactly. So who's your team? Who are your teams?
Man, I'm here in Nashville, or live in Nashville, so I'm a Tennessee Titans football fan, and
Oh,
then
dude.
I like also follow pretty much all the Chicago teams,
Oh,
and
fantastic.
so it's Nashville and Chicago, I guess,
There you
So I'm a
go. That's
big Bulls
awesome.
Bears guy, so
Okay.
and black, so
Yeah, like that. I'm not many people follow hockey, but I would imagine in Chicago, like in the cities where they have it, it's probably pretty big.
yeah, man, and even here in Nashville with the
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 Predators.
Predators
Yeah.
NHL team, they're I mean, you can really see uh, the the excitement, building year after year for the Predators games and stuff too, man, which is really cool,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
see a
man.
lot of people get behind them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm a huge sports fan. Currently, my Astros are being beat by the Red Sox. I think as from what I last saw, the Red Sox hit another grand slam. So I'm sitting here just wondering, oh man, I don't know if my Astros can pull it out.
Oh no, man! I tell you
Oh,
what, you got to keep the fingers crossed, I
I know it,
guess.
man. You gotta keep the faith, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Oh man. So Clint, I actually have a friend with the last name Woolsey. I that's kind of funny. But so
Really?
yeah, I've never heard that last name aside from this one friend, and he plays in a bluegrass band. He plays the banjo. Freaking talented guy. And so I guess Woolsey's just a musical name.
I don't. I've only met one other person, that I wasn't, that I didn't know I was related to
Yeah.
with the last Woolsey, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't hear it a whole lot, but that's interesting, man. Is he playing with anybody?
Oh, it's just a small local bluegrass band here in Utah. He just does a bunch of like the little like plays at the rodeos and at, like the festivals and stuff. The like the fairs, like at a bunch of the fairs and stuff. I don't know if he does much more than that. Like I said, he super talented guy, but I know that that's not his full-time gig. He just plays it for fun. So
Oh, I got you. Well, that man, I tell you what, that does take some skill playing the bluegrass
oh
stuff,
yeah,
man.
yeah, that
I
like
love it.
yeah, because he and I went to high school together, and I've never really heard, I never listened to much bluegrass, but he was like, he had told me to come out to one of the shows, and I was like, ah, sure, why not? It's fun, free little concert in the park, and I was just floored. That music is really, really pretty. Like the fiddle, the banjo, everything is really pretty intense.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like you really have to have some serious skills, man, to play some bluegrass stuff, and so
Absolutely.
I always admire those guys, man. I like to go out and hear some bluegrass when I can too.
I'll bet you get a pretty good mix out there in Nashville, being able to kind of listen to anything you want, right?
Yeah, I mean, you name it, it's here, man. From bluegrass to heavy metal stuff, So it's easy to find just about any musical style happening here in the city, which is pretty cool, man.
That is
There's
really
a lot
cool.
lot of great venues and stuff too for it.
Yeah, that is really cool. And obviously, the style of music y'all play, I mean, there's quite a bit of technical skills there too, like as you listen to it. Like so I will apologize in advance. I am a little bit ignorant to the genre of music that you play. Not that I haven't heard it before, not that I don't know a little bit about it, but I haven't really like dive deep into it. And so it's gonna be fun for me to kind of pick your brain about all the music you guys make, because I find it really cool. Obviously with the brand new EP you dropped, the thing that really stood out to me was the kind of the ride that you take the listener on. Um, starting out with a punch and then really pulling it way back on that second song really caught me off guard.
Yeah. Man, on this, we did a full 13 song album, and so the label cut it into two EPs,
Mm-hmm.
and then the full, or two 5-song EPs, and then the full 13 song album and stuff, just to,
Yeah,
just trying to get our uh, get our fan base up, more and more and
sure.
stuff. And but man, on this one, we really wanted to focus in on like on crafting the songs as well as we possibly could, and
Mm-hmm.
so it we we spent a lot more time putting these songs together, and musically and lyrically, to where everything was right where everybody thought it should be,
Yeah.
and so kind of going from the first punch of the punch of that first song, and then kind of slowing it down and stuff. And the next one was what was pretty cool, man, because live, we obviously play all these songs live and stuff, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of cool to go on a little roller coaster ride there, I guess, but we with this EP and stuff, or actually the whole album, we had a really great producer, which is the first time we'd really worked with a real producer. You know
Oh,
what I
okay.
mean? And so he was really helping us along the way there, and really helping us craft everything, and
Yeah.
so I could definitely tell it made a huge difference on this album, from our last two
Yeah.
albums that we put. So
So tell me, like, what were some of the biggest differences that stood out to you having this, because obviously, based on what I read and what I'm aware of, this producer was very hands on. He helped write as well, right? It wasn't just helping produce, but he helped to add to and write some of the music, right?
he sure did, man. It was this was the first time that every song that is on this EP and then on the upcoming album um, was written basically right before we went in and recorded it.
Oh, okay.
Whereas our first two albums, we had been playing that stuff live for quite some time, and then we went in and it was just kind of a boom, 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 and it's done. You know what I
Oh,
mean? And,
okay.
and
Yeah.
but this time it was really a much more intense and kind of drawn out process. Um, and I guess it took us a total of almost 8 weeks to do 13 songs, whereas our first two albums took about 3 days,
Yeah.
to track everything, and then was on to the mixing and stuff. And so that was the big difference for me. And I was actually really nervous, man, because the first two albums, like I said, we had played them live for so long before we went in and recorded them. So
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty confident about my guitar parts and my vocal parts, and this is where this part is, that's where this harmony is. And so it was definitely a learning experience, man. But the producer, Toby Wright, was I mean, he was absolutely excellent, and he just jumped right in with us, and so it was very calming to
Yeah.
have him, you know what I mean. and
I'll bet.
and it was, we had a good time, and everybody was all smiles, man, pretty much the whole time,
That's awesome.
from the pre-production up to the recording and everything, man. And so and we also gained a new friendship with him, out
Heck
of it,
yeah.
which is really cool too, man. So
Oh,
it
that's
was
always amazing.
yeah, man, absolutely. It was really enjoyable process, though, I have to say, so I'm looking forward to the next one.
Heck yeah, I bet. And why the change of heart with like the rather than bringing in curated kind of what's the practiced kind of fleshed out songs that you've been playing for a long time, why change the strategy and go with writing and then recording immediately? Was there a thought process behind it, or was it kind of just like oh man, we got to get a record out, it's been X number of years, we gotta get on this? What was the thought process there?
Well, we signed on with a label right before the pandemic kind of hit,
Mm-hmm.
and we all had ideas, for either like guitar riffs or maybe little beginnings or parts of different ideas that we wanted to turn into songs.
Mm-hmm.
But once we signed on with Rolling the Dice Records, then they said that they would, you know, put out or they would back the budget, which would include, a great producer if we wanted that,
Mm-hmm.
because we really didn't know, exactly what all would happen, and so when they said that, we were kind of thinking, oh boy, we better get ourselves together here for it, and so
Yeah.
so that was I guess the thinking behind that, and so we were not necessarily scrambling to get everything together, but we put everything, all the ideas we had, we were recording all those when we were getting together and stuff up here in Nashville, and then just kind of went from there, but it was a blessing in disguise, man. The way we see it, just because it came out beautifully,
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, that having that budget, being able to have that studio time is pretty incredible. That's a pretty penny.
Yeah, man, and we're not necessarily broke musicians, but we just didn't have we never really had a whole lot of a budget to work with, because we'd always done everything on our own,
Hmm.
basically, and so this was really, really cool, man. We went into a studio here in Nashville called the Sound Emporium, which is kind of a legendary studio here. It's been around for years and years, and had all kinds of folks from multiple different genres record there, and so the vibe in that place is really intense, and
Yeah.
so it was a real treat, man, getting to go in there and do our thing, and so it was quite the experience, I have to say.
I'll bet. Yeah, because that obviously it sounds like the first few times that you went into the studio, it was very much just all right, let's book as little time as we can possibly get away with, record these songs, and then we'll handle them from there. Whereas this time was very much a well thought out and really like, hey, in the moment, you had time to kind of mull it over and make sure that it came out the way you wanted. And it sounds like that was probably a pretty pivotal thing for a band. Obviously, you guys have been around, what, almost 10 years now, right?
Yeah, man, just about 10 years, and
Yeah.
so and what you mentioned earlier, about we haven't had any new music out in a while. It had been almost 5 years, man, since our last one, which was called Star City. That was out in the very end of 2016,
Okay.
and um, we basically, man, just been you know uh, beating the road up, man, for the last 5 years, playing anywhere and everywhere that would have us, and so
Yeah.
that was kind of our way to try and draw some attention to the band, you know, and uh, and it eventually worked,
Yeah.
and so that was at least our thinking, it was like we definitely got to get something out there, but luckily for us, it we went about it this way, and it we had luck on our side.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
And
so
I've got a few follow up questions with that one because there's kind of the elephant in the room question. Well, obviously, even though you played live music, there could have potentially been opportunity to get in the studio. But what was it that kept you guys from releasing music, for 5 years? Because obviously, um, it's not that you had stopped playing music; you'd played music probably even more than most bands do.
yeah, but we were, we had a goal of 250 shows a year.
Dang,
But
that's
we
impressive.
got to we were hitting a little over 150, I guess, a year,
That's crazy.
right around there. And yeah, and it was just we were spending all of our time just doing that, because the band guys, I live here in Nashville, and the other four guys live down in Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
So and everyone was still doing we were all still doing day jobs and stuff when we were in town, and we really just could never nail down enough time. We made time for rehearsals and all that stuff, but to nail down a couple weeks and have all the material to go in and do it, you know what I mean? It was just kind of, it felt like it was getting further and further away there
Oh,
last couple of
absolutely.
years, and because we were searching for a record label, and also searching for a booking agency, and so it was just there was a lot we were searching for, I guess,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, And then it all came together right before the pandemic hit,
Yeah,
so it was, we were just, happy that it all did come together,
absolutely.
we were all constantly writing and stuff, but we never really got, we never really had any songs that everyone was really excited about. It was like, well, that's a cool riff or that's a cool idea, and then
Yeah,
but I think it took our producer Toby coming in to help us, to help us craft all these songs together. Well, hey, take this riff, let's put it over here, and let's write a new part for this song that we took that riff from, and that kind of thing. I guess if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. And with obviously that's kind of the recording side of things, but you mentioned that you were looking for a label, looking for a booking agency or a booking agent, and one of the curiosities I have is what were like the catalysts that led to things falling into place and getting with rolling the die with on the record label and getting that all rolling.
I think it was really just the timing of it,
Oh, okay.
'cause, I had always done all the booking and stuff, and we're constantly over the last 5 or 6 years looking for labels and and the booking agency and stuff, and then it really took our management company that they kind of stepped in and started working with us, and then they kind of took the lead and made all that. They made the connections that ended up making all that happen
That's
for us,
awesome.
So yeah, we owe them a big old thank you. That is for sure, man.
I'll
So
bet.
it was,
Yeah,
but it was just the timing of it, man. How it all fell into place.
that's
We
incredible.
just, yeah, we didn't want to give up on it. So we were gonna keep on trucking until something happened. And luckily it
Absolutely.
did, because like I said, it had been a few years.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And I mean that's always a fine line, right? Of okay, how long is too long before there's no other choice than to release music, and there's also the how long can we support these songs we have out live, and obviously in your guys' situation, I mean, I would consider y'all to be kind of a unicorn in the space of being able to do so many shows, as a independent band, to be able to do that many shows and get out on the road and book all of that, doing it all DIY. What was kind of the process prior to the label? How are you guys managing all of that?
Well, it was definitely a team effort, man. I was doing the booking, and one of our lead guitar players, James Edwards, he was doing all the cool show posters and all the graphics for our social media, and then
Mm-hmm.
I had a buddy of mine that I grew up with that was doing our website for free, just because he loved us. And
That's awesome.
you know, yeah, man. So it was really just, we were asking friends for help. We get, if we played one club and the folks, the owner or somebody there really dug the band, then they'd send us some information on some other venues and who to speak with, and so it was basically, we were making friends, and then they were kind of helping us, pointing us towards other venues to book in other cities, and so it was exhausting, to be completely honest with
I'll
you.
bet. I I
But
can't even
yeah,
imagine, man. I can't. I genuinely, I was, you said a goal of 250 shows, and then still even playing a little over 150. That's more than like. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, holy cow, that's every other day almost. That's a once every third day. That's several times a week. That's exhausting. That is a lot of work.
yeah, man, we were crashing on people's couches or sleeping in our van, and just pretty much kind of doing whatever it took to make it all happen.
Yeah.
We just we had all been in bands, over the years as we were growing up and stuff, and they'd happen for a minute, and then somebody would quit. You know what I mean? Or the
Yep.
band would fall apart and stuff. And so with these, with us five guys, we were all in the same mindset of like, man, by God, we're gonna make this one work.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We're gonna try and take it as far as we possibly can, and make the best music that we can, and so yeah, basically, man, we just kind of just stuck with it and just tried to plow through the tough times there, and hopefully see some daylight coming out of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's I can only imagine. Obviously, there's so many hurdles constantly when it comes to being creative and being a musician. Like, there's so many hurdles that you're overcoming every single day, and so I can only imagine as you're overcoming those, trying to be prepared for now the next hurdle that's coming, because that it's a never ending supply of things to overcome, right?
You're exactly right. I mean, I kind of think that's probably like that with anything, that
Yeah,
you're wanting to do, but this just happened to be musically for us.
yeah,
We were dead set on it, and just really just trying to to make something happen, basically. And
mm-hmm.
luckily for us, man, that we stuck with it, and it all kind of came together there for us. So
Yeah.
it was. But we're definitely awful thankful for it, man. That is for sure.
I'll
For the
bet.
opportunities and stuff. So
Well, and I mean, this is a pretty consistent theme, obviously, but it's the overnight success was 10 years in the making, right? It's that's kind of how how life seems to be. And you're right. I think everything, anything that's really good or anything that's really worth having takes work. Um, but I think there's kind of the comfort that a lot of people will get into of getting a job and kind of living in that security.
sure.
They'll work hard, they earn it, they accomplish all these things, but then there's a whole other thing when it comes to that bootstrapping. Kind of picking yourself up and doing it all, and just saying, all right, what you said with the band, we're gonna make it happen. It's going to happen. This we're committed to it. This is our thing, and nothing's gonna stop us. Like, when you have that, that's slightly different than someone who's on the daily grind of working for a company that's kind of providing for all of the comforts of security, right? Because you guys lived in a place where you were extremely, you know, unsure. And that right there is where all of that grit, all that tenacity, ultimately it defines the successful ones, and it sets them apart from the ones who give up, you know?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, no, you're exactly right about that. That's yeah. I guess if you want it bad enough, you know what I mean. You gotta be willing to keep chasing it there.
Yeah, you got to be willing to do what it takes to make it happen. And
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Man. Oh, I'm sorry, but I
no,
didn't mean
no.
to cut you off.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say, playing all those live shows and stuff over the years, trying to get noticed or and draw some attention to us. It really made the band really tight. Just as a family. From person to person, as well as musically. You start to
Mhm.
be able to read what everybody's getting ready to do.
Yeah.
And so it was that was also that was a blessing right there too, man. And um, just how tight it made all of us together.
Yeah.
And so that was another cool thing. I meant to add that in there earlier,
No,
but I
heck
didn't mean to.
yeah. I love that. I think that's another really important factor when it comes to being successful is obviously you've already mentioned it, you've alluded to it quite a few times, and you know, you said obviously, you know, just kind of like everything fell into place, everything was, it just kind of, you know, the circumstances kind of led to it, but it was surrounding yourself with talented people and having the right friends, the right people in place, that's ultimately what will carry you, right? It's kind of like the extra fuel when you're down running on fumes, someone comes up with a gas can and gives you just enough fuel to get you to the station, right? It's kind of that
That's
next step of the way.
yeah, no, you're exactly right, man. That's a good way of putting it too, you know.
Well, because you know, I always look at it in the way of like, the only time that you really like benefit from the people around you is when you've done everything you possibly can, and then they'll step in and give you that last little tiny bit, you know, but it's usually not much. But and for them it's pretty easy to do, but what for you and what it does for you in that moment is an incredible thing, you know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And you know, and there's so many bands and musicians and singers and artists out there that are trying to make something happen. You know what I mean? So there's not necessarily competition, but you really we were just trying to stand out. You know what I mean? We're trying to kind of
Hmm.
stand out of the crowd. You know, by doing all that. You know, all the touring and all that stuff, man. So that was uh that was our only game
Yeah.
plan pretty much. So we are really hoping it worked out, you know.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine. And with like all the touring and stuff, where were y'all heading? What was kind of like the, obviously I'm sure there was quite a few local shows just because of logistics, but you know, being out on the road playing that many shows, you probably traveled quite a bit, right?
Yeah, man. We basically took every show that we were offered. Um, and sometimes, actually, a lot of times, we were doing two of them a day, you know. So we'd
Wow.
play like an afternoon festival somewhere or play in the afternoon at a festival somewhere and then book it to the next town, you know, and play a club that night, you know. And so, you know, and then we were doing a bunch of singer songwriter, you know, like acoustic guitar singer songwriter rounds and stuff wherever
Yeah.
we could, you know, and trying to hit whatever radio stations will let us in the door, you know.
Dang.
So it's
Yeah, that's
you
that's
know,
crazy.
yeah, yeah, you know, that was I guess like I said, man, that was just our game plan to try and stand out of the crowd, you
Well, I
know, as
mean
much
that
as get noticed, you
yeah, I
know.
mean that's a great way to do it. Like obviously, you know, that's one of the things that's hard for a lot of bands that are up and coming is being able to find the time, get the venues, you know, get accepted to join on a certain, you know, bill, and being able to play that many live shows. That's, I mean, that's invaluable because now ultimately, as now you have more support, more resources, and you start playing a little bit bigger venues, I mean, you've got so many hours of practice that other bands may not have. So you're going to be prepared for that live setting, and you know, be able to keep kind of extending the gap between you and the next band, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and we you know, I guess we've got it down pretty good, you know, and so I think a few of those early gigs we were getting, the club owner or the promoter or whoever was just like, man, I see these guys are working. So, you know, whether
Yeah.
I want on the bill or not, I'm going to stick them on the very front of the bill and, you know, and just give them a little shot here. You know what I mean? And so, and through all that, we kind of, it feels like we kind of gained a little, I guess, a little respect. You know what I mean? And maybe not respect, maybe respect isn't the word I was looking for, but kind of earned our street cred, you know,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, you know.
No,
So,
it does make sense. And I mean, cuz in my mind, I that's kind of what I was thinking, you know, the band that shows that grit and tenacity, even if you don't completely perfectly match exactly what the venue's looking for, whatever the bands are looking for. they there's a level of respect there that says, hey, I think these guys should have the spot because of what they've done and what I think they're capable of. And it kind of gives, it's that first impression, right? Like you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So when you're making
Yeah.
that first impression that of that guy who's just working his tail off, then they're gonna say, okay, well, I think I think he deserves a chance.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely, man. That's exactly it. And so, yeah, we were just, uh, almost in tears, man, when it all came together.
That's
You know what I
awesome.
mean? Jumping for joy, basically, man.
Yeah,
So it was a big thing for
that's
us.
so cool. Yeah, I love that. That's really awesome because, I mean, I always love to see people achieving and accomplishing their dreams and finally, being able to make more than just a hobby or a excitement out of it. It's now it's it becomes a livelihood, and it becomes so much more than just a couple guys who are friends who have talent just playing shows, to now be like, oh, these guys with talent are also like burning up the stage. They're killing it. And that's super exciting to me to hear those types of things and to see those types of stories come about. And yeah, that's super awesome that things are, you know, years and years of hard work is paying off. And I can only imagine that it was fairly discouraging with COVID hitting immediately after the signing and all. You're kind of hit this really exciting point. You've got so much anticipation, so much things to look forward to, and then boom, everything shuts down.
Yeah, it was unfortunate timing, man. That is for sure. But that was I mean, to me, that was just really bizarre. The whole COVID pandemic, you know what I mean? Just,
Yeah,
I mean, kind of came out of nowhere and stuff, and I hated it for everybody, man. But
yeah,
good thing for us was that no, there most places weren't open, to go play, and if
yeah,
they were, no, it was probably going to come out. So that really gave us a lot of time for to do all the pre-production and stuff, on this new album. And then it gave us plenty of time to go in and kind of sit back and relax and jump in on the whole recording process
yeah,
as well, and so
yeah.
for us, I guess COVID was a little bit of a blessing in disguise, where we lost a lot of shows, but we were able to go in and knock out a really cool album,
That's
and
really
so
cool. Yeah, and so y'all, when did y'all record the album? What was kind of like the time frame y'all were writing and recording?
let's see, we did all the pre-production at I've got a small studio and rehearsal room here at my house in Nashville. And so we do about 2 weeks at a time. Everybody would just stay at my house, and
Mm-hmm.
our producer Toby would come over every day, and we work for 9, 10 hours, something like that, sometimes longer, and just kind of go over every idea that anybody had, and do all the pre-production and stuff. So that was April and May, and then in June and July, we actually went in and started doing some recording, and then we took, let's see, we took about 6 or 8 weeks off in August. So it was August and September, and then we went back in the studio and did the other half of the album. So like June, July, we did 6 songs, and then in October we went back in and did the other 7.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so it was over that kind of time frame, I guess. So
Yeah.
uh, But the total recording time and all that stuff was about 8 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And obviously you mentioned, that when prior to the new music that's been released, prior to the signing with the record label and stuff, obviously everyone was kind of full-time jobs and kind of balancing the band and work and kind of living that double life,
yeah,
uh
right,
are
exactly.
is that still, I mean, I'd imagine that doesn't just go away overnight, right?
No, everybody still has a day job, but it's stuff like our drummer. He does a lot of landscaping and that kind of thing, and it's
Okay.
his own company, and so and then another band member, he's the other lead guitar player, Ted. He works at a testing lab, like they test for well, now they're testing for COVID and stuff, but they do. People send in drug tests,
Oh, like a McKesson or something, like one of those.
yeah, right, yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Cool.
So he's testing for marijuana and all that stuff, and I'm
I
sure all kinds
you know
of
I
things.
I was actually reading a funny article. Sorry, this is totally a side note, but I was
Yep.
reading an article. It was because of the labor shortage that we're running into, where people are, the Great Resignation. A lot of people are kind of there's a lot of people looking for work, but people are more particular about it. The I think the percentage of companies prior to all of this that would require a clean drug test in terms of marijuana, it was like, one out of every maybe 10 companies would let you through without a drug test, and now it's up to like 1 out of 4 companies will let you through without a drug test. And
Is it really?
yeah, I mean, they need the workers, and obviously marijuana has been legalized in a lot of cities or a lot of states, and so I just thought that was really fascinating, that he's doing all these drug tests. I'm like, I bet he has less of those to have to worry about, even if it wasn't dealing with COVID tests, he's probably having to do less of those.
Right. No, yeah, man.
Well, I guess he's still testing for other
That's
things, right? Marijuana is just the one that they'll let happen.
right. Yeah, you're exactly right. That's an interesting factoid there, man.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. He always has some pretty interesting stories, things he finds, yeah, man, but so everyone was, all the day jobs and stuff. Um, it was easy to get time off to go tour or whatever, and then you come back and work like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe, you know what I mean, and then
Yeah.
go back out. So everybody's day jobs are pretty flexible. I work at an artist management company, and so
Awesome.
I'm able to do a lot of work, away from the office and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm lucky in that way as well, and so it just all kind of worked out like that. Everybody was able to find a way to make a living without playing music, that
Yeah.
would be flexible, so they'd have time to go play music and stuff.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to that grit and tenacity, like the fact that it's like you're gonna find a way, because you even said, you were playing music since, you said, drums at 6 or 7, and then bass, and then guitar, like it was kind of just in your blood to do this, and it's like you're gonna find a way to just make it happen. You're gonna choose that career path, and it really kind of just separates the people who really want it from the people who just say they want it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. The five of us, we absolutely love playing music together, and I think it really shows, when people see us live, or they listen to our music and stuff, and so it was just I feel like for me, I feel like I finally found 4 other guys that wanted it as much as I did, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Yeah.
really really enjoyed the song, writing the songs and putting them together and playing them live and everything, we all have the same mindset on that, which is kind of rare, man. At least from my personal experiences of being in other bands before this one, it was
Yeah.
kind of, you'd have a couple guys maybe that were really serious, and then the other guys were just kind of doing it just for the, just for the fun. And that's cool too, man, but I guess it was just really nice finding, four other guys that thought like I did and that wanted it as much as I did.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's fine to have people who want to just, play around, play some local shows, play, a few things, just kind of goof off and just have a band, have some buddies in a band with them. But it's only cool if everyone's on the same page, and that's what they all want, right? It's not as cool if one guy's like, "Hey, I actually want to make something out of this," and the other guys are just kind of like, "Yeah, cool," and they, when there's that discrepancy between desired outcomes, it's gonna really mess with the longevity and the cohesiveness of the band.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I mentioned this earlier, that we had all been in bands, tons of bands, before this one.
Mm-hmm.
And something would always happen, right before you feel like you're about to accomplish something, somebody would quit, or just anything, that,
Yeah.
split the band up, and so, but it was all great experiences. And, it was all learning experiences,
Yeah.
for me, for sure,
Yeah. Stepping
So,
stones, man. Stepping stones.
that's exactly it, man.
That's awesome. And how did you guys meet to form Stone Senate? Because, I usually, you guys, you're obviously located in Nashville. I would assume you're from Mississippi originally.
No, man, I'm actually, I grew up here in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
And I was playing in a cover band here in Nashville. And we were playing at a at a bar here called Losers Bar and Grill. And
That's awesome. What a great name.
yeah, it is, man. It's just a funky little dive bar, but it's just uh, it's one of those great dive bars in my opinion,
Yeah.
And we were playing there, and the bass player, our bass player now, Paul Zettler, uh, he's a songwriter, and so he was living in Nashville, and Losers Bar and Grill was always like a music industry kind of hang,
Oh, okay.
all the songwriters and a lot of the players and stuff would all come there after they got done with their day, and
Awesome.
so that's how Paul and I met, because he was in there hanging out with some of his songwriter buddies. And so we got to talking. And originally, Paul and I were playing with three other guys, two other guitar players, and a different drummer. And then we did that for about 3 years. And that band was called The Shakes. And long story short, we were trying to trademark that name.
Mm-hmm.
What we didn't know was that a ton of other bands had that name.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. I imagine
So,
that one's a pretty common name.
yeah, man, it's a great name too.
It
So
is.
I definitely
Yeah.
blame them for wanting to have it. So so we changed the name to Stone Senate, and trying to get five guys to agree on a band name is damn near impossible. I'm pretty sure, so everybody made their lists, of names. And my top idea was to call a band Bees Senate, and then so we pulled the Stone off of one of the other guys' lists, and then just kind of combined them, and we were like, well, that's different, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we decided to kind of go with that, and then shortly after that, we brought in our bass player we brought in his brother David Zettler, who's a drummer. And so Paul and I were living in Nashville, and David was down in Meridian, Mississippi. And so then it was the three of us and two other lead guitar players. And then one guy left to take a great job up in Indiana, I think. And so that's when James Edwards came in, who's one of the lead guitar players we have now.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after that, the other guitar player left, the other lead player left. And so that's when we brought Ted Hennington in. And so that's kind of how you got all five of us here now.
That's awesome.
You know,
yeah.
If that wasn't too confusing, I hope not.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I mean, you met at Loser's Bar, then you get that guy's brother, and then you've got some friends who end up leaving, and then you get new ones, and yeah, I kind of followed the the general gist. No, I love it.
You know what was really weird though is that our drummer and bass player and the two lead guitar players, they were all in a band together as when they were growing up.
Oh, okay.
And then had kind of split off doing their own things. And so it was really weird, man, how it all came back together for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's really cool.
So it was just, yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. I think, as long as you don't get the long version, I may put you to sleep,
I just love that the band started at Loser's Bar and Grill. That's just like that right there, like the idea of it, like I now I have to like see that place in person, like I just that sounds so awesome because it's like, the band is, this is how long ago was that? Like 10 years ago, right at the beginning, or was that even earlier?
That was in 2008.
Okay.
And so it was it was really interesting, man, because I met Paul just at the bar on one of my breaks. We just started chatting and stuff about music, and then he said, well, I'm a bass player, but I'm a songwriter, and I said, well, man, why don't let's get something together, man. And I know a couple other guys that are guitar players. They're looking for a band, and so it just all kind of naturally happened like that, And so it was, but yep, it all started at Loser's Bar and Grill, man.
And I mean, how many times do people, like, I'd imagine in Nashville this gets said all the time. LA, same thing. Hey, we should get together and make music. Like, I imagine that happens all the time, right? Like, hey, you seem like a cool dude. Let's make some music together. And then it's just like, yeah, I'm never talking to that guy again. Like what was different about this interaction between you and Paul that actually like made it work?
I think it was, this sounds kind of stupid, but we were at first, we kind of became drinking buddies. Like we'd hook up, drink beers. And then we realized that we both had pretty similar musical tastes, and then we just started bouncing some ideas, off each other. And then that's kind of when we brought in the two other guys and then a drummer, to try and put something together. But it all happened really quick, man, for me and Paul. I mean, we were hanging out not even a month, man, and decided to kind of do it, so it was it couldn't worked out any better, but it was definitely kind of weird how it all came together. And then with those guys having played together growing up, was really bizarre.
That full circle of those guys down in Mississippi, just wait, we were in a band together before, like, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, man. And but they were still good friends, even though they weren't still playing together. And so, but it is a wonderful, great group of guys, man.
That's awesome.
I couldn't ask for better family members now,
Yeah,
so it's a cool thing. I guess also you spend that much time together in a van,
man, I imagine
either hate each other or become best of pals,
Yeah, I imagine like everyone is like, when you're driving, everyone's just like playing rock, paper, scissors to not have to sit behind you. They're like, can't do it. I can't do it, man. I need my leg space too.
That's exactly right. We used to take turns sitting in the front bench seat because you could sit on it and stretch your legs all the way out, across
Right in
the
the
whole
middle.
bench.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but then we were getting pretty creative at finding ways to sleep in that thing.
Oh
And
man.
so, um, but it was well worth it though, man. And like I said, just we got really really tight, really really close, man. And so it was it was a beautiful thing, man, to me. So it was you couldn't ask for anything better, I don't think.
I'll bet. And I mean the coolest part is it's all just really catching some steam now. It's you've got this brand new EP that's obviously tied to the bigger whole of the album, and it's all just kind of it's all these years in the making for this beautiful product. This whole story is coming, and it's about to round that bend and see this brand new horizon and see all these new opportunities. So that's really exciting, man.
Man, I tell you what, it really is. It's really cool seeing, like your social media numbers go up, after each week. And it's kind of like we're starting to see all the work is starting to kind of pay off,
Yeah,
but there's still a long way to go for us.
absolutely.
But it's just nice to see a little, some positive changes and stuff happening with it, and
Yep.
we went in, we were able to make a great record. And, so it's just, it's definitely, a lot better than it ever has been. And it's just getting better each day for us.
Yeah.
So,
Man, that's so exciting. Well, real quick, I always like to end my podcast with just a real, just a few random questions. Do you still have a couple minutes?
oh man, absolutely, brother. I
Awesome.
got all night, however long, man.
All right, because we talked about the band, and it's been honestly delightful. It's really fun getting to talk to you, and like I said, I'm really excited for what's going to happen for you guys, and what's happening right now currently. But I like to, like I said, just kind of completely shift gears and just have a fun little closeout here. So this first question is due to the fact that I am a sugarholic. I am currently staring at a bag of Twizzler Bites in front of me.
Yeah.
What's your favorite candy?
Oh, I like the Airheads.
Oh yeah.
I like the grape Airheads.
Okay.
The singles you can buy there in the gas stations.
Hey, that's a solid choice.
Yeah, Twizzlers are pretty good too, though. I have
Oh,
to say.
absolutely. Yeah. I just wish they made strawberry Twizzler Bites. They only make the cherry ones, which is still great, but strawberry Twizzlers are just my jam when it comes to Twizzlers.
Yeah, I heard that, man. I definitely heard that. I
Oh,
like about anything strawberry.
yeah, me too, man. And obviously with touring, I'm gonna kind of follow up. This one's gonna be a question I haven't asked, but while you're out on tour, you hit your gas station stops. What was your go-to meal out there?
Well, we normally try and eat as healthy as we can, you know.
Smart.
So we hit truck stops, because they normally have like a Subway or
Yeah.
multiple little restaurants in there and stuff. And so
Plus their little
it's either
deli
a
sandwiches and
Subway,
stuff.
it's either a sandwich or occasionally a cheeseburger,
Yeah.
or something like that. Or a lot of those truck stops make their own little turkey rolls too, which are pretty good.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah. I
Yeah.
my my brother-in-law, I don't know what made me think of this, but he took a road trip. He and my sister-in-law took a road trip, and they stopped, and he got himself, what did he get? He got himself a hard-boiled egg and something else, and and a pickle or something. And
Ooh.
the moment that I heard what he ate, I was like, I should have stopped you there, because I already know what the end result of this story is. their whole vacation was basically ruined because he was sick the whole time. I was like, dude, I could
Oh,
have told you that was going to happen. You don't get a hard-boiled egg from a rest stop ever.
no, sir, absolutely not, man.
Oh, man.
Absolutely not. But yeah, and I'll throw this in there too, if that's all right.
Yeah.
We normally always tried to hold out until we got to the venue, because most venues, they'll give each band guy a meal.
Oh, okay.
That way you kind of try and get something, not fast food or truck stop meal, but
yeah.
But hey, I love a good cheeseburger, man, too.
Oh, heck yeah.
That's okay with me.
Have you guys gone through, I'm sure you've played shows in Texas, right?
Man, we actually just got back. We were at a festival in Plano, Texas this
heck yeah.
Saturday night. And so we get down to Texas a pretty good amount, man, more and more each year,
I mean, this one probably goes without saying. If you've been to Texas and you stop at rest stops, you had to have stopped at a Buc-ee's, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah, man.
Good.
They're putting a Buc-ee's in Tennessee.
No way.
It's on Interstate 65, maybe, which is going south, or it's south from Nashville.
Wow.
100%, but Buc-ee's is great, man. Buc-ee's and Whataburger.
Yeah, man.
Texas is always good too.
Oh yeah, man. My wife used to make so much fun of me because so I lived down there for a few years when I was single, and then I ended up moving back down there for a few years with my wife and my son, and it's about 5 years ago or whatever. And before we moved down, I would always talk to her about Buc-ee's, and she'd just make fun of me. She was like, "It's a gas station. Why are you talking about a gas station this way?" And
it's so much more, though.
It's so much more. So I took her, the first time I took her to a Buc-ee's, it was in Katy, Texas, just outside of Houston. And she was like, I get it now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man. I think you really do have to experience it firsthand. You know what I mean? To understand
it's so true. All right, next question here for you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man.
So this one's sometimes hard to come up with a single answer. So if you can't come up with number one, I will allow you to come up with a top three. But favorite movie?
I'd have to say probably Lonesome Dove. It's a mini series. I think it's like almost 8 hours long. But did you ever see that one? It was Robert Duvall, Tommy Lee Jones. It's a Western.
Okay.
I think it came out back in the late 80s, man. But
yeah, I haven't seen that. I'll have to check it out.
It is fantastic, man. That's probably my top favorite movie, that one. And I love all the Westerns and stuff, any of the old and Clint Eastwood spaghetti Westerns, and a big fan of Dances with Wolves,
Okay.
And so that's probably my top two there, I guess.
That's awesome. And do you what have your thoughts been on Clint Eastwood as a producer / director?
Man, I think he's great. I love just about anything he is in or part of.
Yeah.
I just saw his new one, Cry Macho. Man, I thought that was pretty good too.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet, but I've seen a couple of the ones that he's directed without him being in it, and then some of the ones that he's in it and directing it. And I was like, man, I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. He's super. I mean, he's super talented. He's a really talented guy.
Yeah, man. He's I love it. Like I said, just about anything that he's in, man. And I know he's getting on up there in age, but he seems like he's still rocking and rolling pretty good.
Yeah.
I hope I'm still doing everything. They're as active as he is, man. I think he's almost 90. Right?
I think about that stuff all the time. I'm like, I always love to give my mom and my mother-in-law, I give them a hard time. I'm like, hey, old lady, and
yeah.
And the joke is always, you realize you're gonna get here at some point, and my mother-in-law always jokes, she's like, hey, when you're as old as I am and I'm dead, I'll just come back and haunt you. And I was like,
That's a good one.
Yeah, so I was just like, all right, fine.
That
Uh,
is too funny, man.
yeah.
God, that's a
Oh,
good one there.
yeah. She's adamant that by the time she dies, she's got a relationship with God that she's gonna be able to come back and haunt me whenever I'm acting up. So
Absolutely, man. Getting in right with the big guy upstairs.
yeah.
That's great, man.
Oh man. All right, last one here for you. This one's typically one of the harder ones to answer because a lot of your time is spent doing music. But what's one of your favorite non-music related hobbies?
Uh, you know, that is kind of a tough one, man. It seems like just about everything I do is somehow, related to the music. Man,
Exactly.
I would have to say I've got three dogs,
Okay.
and so I really enjoy spending as much time as I can with them, and whether it's going to the park or just kind of hanging around the house with them, So that's probably my top favorite non-musical thing to do, I guess, is hanging with my dogs,
Heck yeah.
Uh,
What kind?
and
What breed are they?
oh, man, I've got two blue heeler females, and then
Okay,
I've got a little rat terrier,
that's awesome.
a male rat terrier, and so either that, man, or going down to Losers or somewhere like that, and having some drinks and hanging out with some friends.
Heck yeah.
That's always a good one for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of arrived in life when you've got consistent friends and got people you can rely on and trust, and it's always good that way. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
well, man, it was absolutely a blast talking with you. I really appreciate you taking the time and once again, congratulations on the EP, obviously, which is just a snippet of what we all um, get to enjoy soon. But as we sign off here, tell the people where they can find you and just remind them so that way they can go and check y'all out.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me on. I've really enjoyed chatting with you.
Oh, absolutely. It's my
It's,
pleasure. I've loved it as well.
and hey, I was going to say, if you get to Nashville, man, you got to let me know. I'll buy you a drink or a beer down here at Losers. So you can check it out.
I've been telling my wife, I was like, there's got to be a way I can meet some of these bands and some of these musicians I've been talking to. I've got to figure out a way to make it happen. And I've thought about different ways I could like maybe fab a van and take the show on the road and kind of just do a you know kind of my own little mini tour where I go and interview bands, but I go to them and I interview in the van and something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way that I can meet the people that I'm actually talking to, because it's fun. I've got a lot of new friends, but it's only through phone calls, and I want to figure out a way I can actually meet them in person.
Yeah. Hey, dude, that is a great idea. Taking it on the road, man. I bet that'd be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be a ton
So,
of fun.
oh man, and I guess everybody can find our music on all streaming services, and on our website stonesenate.com has got links to streaming and merchandise and touring and all that good stuff. And then our YouTube channel has a ton of stuff on it, man. A bunch of live stuff on there, and several other music videos, and just some other cool, fun, weird things we put on there.
Love it.
And then we're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, and
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
excited. When is the full release of the album? Is there a release date yet?
They the folks over there at the label have not set a release date yet, but it's going to be next year. Definitely, they said definitely before summertime. Because they've still got one more 5-song EP to
Yeah.
put out. and then the full album and stuff.
Well,
But
for anyone who
we'll,
wants to know when that is, they can follow you on social media so that way we can all be notified.
yeah, yeah, yes, sir. You're exactly right, brother. The social media and our website, is going to have all that good stuff.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, and you have a stellar evening.
Chad, thank you so much, brother. Greatly appreciate you having me on, man. I hope you
Absolutely.
have a wonderful rest of your evening here.
Yeah, let's talk again. When the full album releases, let's talk again. Let's make it happen.
Hey, man, it'd be my pleasure, brother. Be
All
my
right.
pleasure.
Have a great evening.
Hey, you too, buddy.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Woo. It's really hot in my office right now. Man, what a cool guy. What a really cool guy. That was a lot of fun. And it's funny cuz it's music that I don't really listen to. But man, there's just something. He's a musician, so it's easy to relate to kind of what drives him, who he is, and it's really cool to talk to these people who just are living their dream. And anyway, that was a lot of fun. I think I've got more interviews this week, so we'll keep you all posted. But till next time, deuces.